Bill, did you have a question?
Yeah. Could you give us kind of an overview of your current business-oriented curriculum? You don't have to go into too much detail, but generally speaking, you're teaching students out their business right now. What are you teaching them? And I love the model that you described here. And immediately my mind went crazy with 1 out of every 23 people in the United States are in sales in the workforce. And there's just, we have such great recreational opportunities here. And to get that model placed within the communities driving your curriculum, which would be, that's a great idea actually. But anyway, could you give us a sense of what you currently are doing?
I can honestly say, and be quite frank, I think it's one of the weakest elements in our college right now. What we have is a very traditional administrative assistant program that's very effective and places people all over the community. We have a very traditional pre-business program, so it gives the students the coursework they need to go ahead and to go on to a bachelor's degree or an MBA. I know we've been meeting with, we've had entrepreneurial classes in the past when we had the services of Chris Madrid here on campus, and that was very, very effective. But I think, honestly, we need people from the business community assisting us in teaching those courses, because when you talk about sales, you know exactly what it's going to take to go ahead and to make that effective. I found when we started to build up our health science program, what was effective, it was people from the hospital, people from the health science community coming forth and teaching our courses that made it real. So I think if nothing more, if we can get an invitation to all of you here today to please join us, partner with us. If you're interested at all in being part of this educational endeavor, we would love to have your services, love to have your talent in developing this program to really better meet the needs of the community.
Thank you. I want to just take a quick aside and tell you how much we appreciate Mark Goldman as a key figure on our advisory board for the excuse me, I've got allergies, for the Housing Solutions Fund that my company started this year with Taos Community Foundation. We are really leaning heavily upon his input and appreciate UNM's support there. I have a question I'd like to explore with you. I know that UNM, let me back up. Having benefited from this tremendously myself as a college student, I have always valued the power of internships, the experience of learning, the importance of being and benefiting from mentors. And that has carried me through decades of 3 different careers. And it seems to me that in a small community like Taos, where we are so wholly dependent upon small business, that if ever there were a situation that would be mutually beneficial for both of us, it would be a strong internship program. And I'm certain that UNM places interns. But what I haven't seen that's been frustrating to me, and Jim, you know I've even contacted you at times, is clearer lines of communication to help really establish and strengthen a program that will help place college interns with small business. I think one of the problems, and I ran into this in fact and had this conversation with SMU regarding their internship program at Fort Bergman just this year, and I know a lot of those guys because I'm from Dallas originally. We have tremendous human capital in Taos. We have people with extraordinary backgrounds who have come here and chosen to run an art gallery or a real estate company. But it doesn't but there's not necessarily, I find, a clear understanding of what the potential for internships can be. For example, I'll use myself. I run a real estate and design company. Okay, we do interior design services of variety of things. And we sell real estate. We're all also brokers. My biggest need right now for my business for interns are web-related tech people and film production. Now, who would figure that? You know, who would expect that in a real estate company? Okay, and I know of other examples, you know, that people in town who are tremendous business operators who have a real opportunity to help groom, train, provide resume material and recommendations for students who are looking for internship possibilities and who need their help, because none of us as small business operators right now today in Taos, New Mexico have the money to pay them. But there's tremendous value in, from the student perspective, in having the opportunity to work with someone who has the skills to train and introduce them to real-time career experience. I'd love to see more about that.
Sharon, thank you for the question. I would actually like to just speak about it sort of generally and then ask perhaps Victoria, and I'll put you on the spot, but I'll give you a heads up that I'm going to ask you to say something about it. Okay. But no, I think there are a couple of approaches to this. I couldn't agree with you more. First of all, I think that learning by doing, that hands-on, I think it's a win-win on so many levels. But also the alumni group that Lewis spoke of, we're trying to find a way to partner with the businesses that help the businesses as well as helping us. So that's one angle that we're looking at. And the other is looking at how to improve advising, mentorship, internships, and given when you're dealing with a community college population, it gets a little more challenging because a lot of people have families and jobs, and you know they're not sort of 18 to 22-year-old residential four-year college students. But with that aside, it's an incredibly important thing for the community, for the businesses, for the students. But it takes a lot more logistical effort to find the right match and to make all those happen. But I think the way that we see it working to the best effect is to really interact on the career pathways coming through the high schools with the dual credit program and really helping bit by bit, because if we just put students into an internship and they haven't really gotten some of the background information yet, it can be tougher on them and on the businesses if they don't know certain basic things like how to dress for work, showing up, calling if you're not going to come, all those simple things. So we've kind of learned over the years that we need to put these things into place in a series of steps to try and promote the greatest level of success for the student and for the businesses. And so with that, maybe you or Victoria could just comment on TBAC or what we see happening there.
Well, Victoria was thinking of something profound, and I wasn't. So.
Well, I know that Sharon's one of the business owners that I have talked to in the last several months, asking for, are there interns available, or how do we get someone who can come in and help me in my business, but then I can also give them the opportunity to learn the business. And so, Sharon, I'm really appreciative of you bringing that up, because I think that's one thing that we definitely do want to work on with TBAC. And I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to meet with Fidel a couple of days ago, and I think that his program is going to really address a lot of the issues that we have talked about here in terms of just that preparedness that we need to help our students get to. We've also worked with Dr. Weston and Mr. Litke at the high school and the superintendent of schools, and so we are currently working on curriculum, and that's what Fidel was volunteered for. And so we were currently working on curriculum at the high school level to start developing this at a very young age. And Doug Swinehart, who was one of the movers and shakers with TPEC, says, we have to get into the elementary age level. We have to start there. And so this is definitely something that we want to consider doing. But I agree with you, Dr. O'Neill. just that preparedness of writing a resume or writing an application that doesn't have text messaging speak on it is really important that our kids understand that. And so we had the opportunity to meet with Rocky Mountain Youth Corps, which is such a fabulous program. If you're not familiar with this program, you need to be, because it has just helped so many young people in this community. So Jamie and I are talking about, you know, they're ready to start placing interns. We just need the places to put them in. And so, as Mr. Gilroy stated, we need the help of the business community, and I'm asking you now if I need your help. And UNM-Taos needs your help. So, thank you.
And I wanted to mention one thing. We do have an example of that internship program here in the room, and that's the gentleman running the camera right back there, Richie Green. And he's from UNM-Taos, and so he's doing hands-on training as we speak.
Sure.
Just to address Sharon's comment, I think that a lot of local businesses, and us included, and I'll be frank with you, we're all facing, you know, we're at the precipice of this digital revolution, and maybe we're at the latter end of it, you know, where a lot of places have caught up. But, you know, businesses here have operated a certain way for a long time, and now they're realizing that even local community members that would walk into your business through, you know, your brick and mortar shop are still looking for your websites online and information, because that's what happens now. And so we're all faced with how to effectively communicate information in an innovative way. And I think that's one of the things we're working on. We acknowledge it, and I think, you know, we've discussed this, you know, informally and formally. We have to develop,
so there
you know,
are some
programs.
internships opportunities for the